Alright guys, today we're going to be talking about identifying intercepts. So this goes way back to Algebra 2 at the beginning when we would identify the intercepts of a graph. Just to do a quick review here, I'm just going to put up a quick graph. So here's our graph, and let's say we have a line like the following, right? We want to find the intercepts here. Well, we want to know where it's crossing. So it's crossing the X-intercept here, and it'll be crossing the Y-intercept here. Okay, and if you want to find those, it's very simple. We know that when it crosses the X-intercept, the Y will always be equal to 0. So we plug in a 0 for the Y. Okay, and likewise, we know that when it crosses the Y-intercept, the X will always be 0. So we plug a 0 into the X and we solve. Okay, so that's just a quick review of how you find the intercepts. So let's go ahead and do this problem. So we have the following, we have f of x equals 1/2 x minus 3. We want to find the intercept of this. So let's go ahead and do this. We know that f of x is really just y, okay? So think of it like that. So if I want to find the x-intercept here, that means I need to make the y 0. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's do this in a different color. So this will be 0 equal to 1/2 x minus 3. And all we're going to do here is solve for x. So we're going to add 3 on both sides. Okay. This cancels. We have 3 equals 1/2 x. Multiply both sides by 2. Okay. Cancels, cancels, and we're left with x equals 6 here. Okay, so x equals 6. So that's where it's crossing the x intercept at 6. Okay. Now we want to go ahead and find the y-intercept. Alright, so we're just going to do the opposite. Instead of plugging a 0 into the y, we're now going to plug it into the x. Right. So we have here f of x equal to 1/2, and we said we're going to plug a 0 now into the x. Okay? And we're going to solve for our y here. Remember, this is really y. So this becomes 0, and we just get f of x, or y, is equal to, and we get here, negative 3. Okay, so we know what the x and the y-intercept is going to be here. Okay, we know that the x is going to be 6. We know that the y, or f of x, let's write y here, y will equal negative 3. Okay, and that is for this guy right here. Okay, now what about this g of x? All right, so this was for f of x. What about g of x? Okay. Well, it's telling us that we're doing 3 times f of x. So there's a couple ways you could do this. If you're good with transformations, you may already see what's going on here. If not, we'll just go ahead and do the operation out. So we're going to do 3 times f of x. Alright, so we'll do this first, and then I'll show you how you could have solved this using transformations. Okay, so we're going to do 3 times f of x, which is going to be 1/2 x minus 3, and this is all equal to g of x. Okay. Let's go ahead and distribute this 3, so we get 3 over 2x minus 9, and then we get equal to g of x. Okay, so at this point, here is our function g of x, right? And we're going to go ahead and solve it the same way we did the other one. So if we want to solve for the x-intercept, we'll plug a 0 into the y. If we want to solve for the y-intercept, we'll plug a 0 into the x. So let's solve for the y-intercept first. Okay, so I'm just going to erase this guy, clean it up a little bit, and I'll write what we have right here. So we have g of x equal to 3 over 2x minus 9. Okay, let's go ahead and solve for the y-intercept. So I'm going to plug a 0 into the x. So we get g of x, or again y, right, is equal to 3 over 2. Plug in a 0, and then minus 9. This all becomes 0 here, so we get g of x equals negative 9. Okay, so the y-intercept for this one is going to be negative 9. So we get y equals, right, or g of x, right? Let's put y for now, is equal to negative 9. Okay, so that's the y-intercept for this particular function. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and solve for x now, the x-intercept. So again, all we're going to do here is plug a 0 in to the g of x or our y. So we get 0 equal to 3 over 2x minus 9. We're going to add 9 on both sides. Cancels. We get 9 equal to 3 over 2x multiply both sides by 2. Okay, cancels, we get 18 equal to 3x, divide both sides by 3. Okay, and at this point we get x, the x-intercept here is going to be 6. Okay, and this here will be our final answer. So again, y-intercept, x-intercept, and that's going to be for our g of x. Now, you could have solved this using transformations as well. Looking at this, you may have recognized that this is going to be a vertical stretch by a factor of 3. So if we know that, right, it's going to be a vertical stretch of a factor of 3. So pretty much what you're doing is you're doing a vertical stretch, okay, of our f of x function here. So if you're doing a vertical stretch by a factor of 3, you know that the x will remain the same, okay, like it did. However, since it's a vertical stretch by a factor of 3, we would simply multiply the y here by 3. So 3 times negative 3 would give you negative 9, okay? So a couple ways you could have solved that one, okay? But that is it. So again, that's how you identify the intercepts.